Pressure. Some on this gas getting hectic. I put my bitch in the best shit. Wanna act group to stretch quick. Pressure. Some on this gas getting hectic. I put my bitch in the best shit. Wanna act group to stretch quick.
Yo, what is up? What is up? And it's me, it's Key, and we're back in the building with another live stream. Philly Talk with Key, and I got my guy, King DV Sports. What's going on, King? What's going
Hey,
on?
what's going on with you? What's
I'm
going on,
good.
man?
I had to start the show while I was in the car. I was like, oh my God, I gotta at least let the viewers know we coming.
Right,
Last minute parenting things gotta be Uber drivers and can you take me here? Can you take me
right.
there? But we are here. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. I'm just getting ready for the Eagles Sunday matchup with the Cowboys. That's all I'm getting ready for. I'm getting ready for that, and then also Sunday's my birthday, so I'm hopefully the Eagles win.
Oh yeah, you gotta get a good birthday. We gotta get you a birthday gift there.
Yeah,
But I'm excited for that game too. But we gonna talk about some Sixers, man. The Sixers preview is here. Regular season starts Tuesday. We got Boston. What's your expectations for the season?
my expectation is Eastern Conference Finals is the minimum right now, man. Like we had all off season to get this thing together. We had all off season to get a healthy Harden, and Tyrese Maxey's been working his ass off to the point where now only sky's the limit for him, man. He's making it hard for defensive guards and defensive forwards and even centers to guard him. Period. So he's doing way better with his spot up shooting. He's doing way better with just pulling up from anywhere, man. We've seen that in the preseason, and I'm just hopefully that continues into the regular season.
Now let's go back, unfortunately, to that dreadful second round exit. Let's talk about that whole series. I mean, the first series we get Toronto, and I'm like, all right, we could sweep Toronto. I didn't call for a sweep, but I'm like, all right, we up 3 games to none. And all of a sudden, get game one. I'm like, all right, they get game one, game two, and then Joel goes out. I'm like, Doc Rivers, if we're up by 29,
Yep.
why in the holy hell do you leave your star center in this game? Boom. He blows the orbital bone.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 games with the Heat, the Sixers, this Sixers team definitely showed that we need Joel Embiid in that middle because
Yeah.
those first 2 games, flatline.
Facts. But my whole take on it is that everybody was calling for Paul Reed to come and start over DeAndre Jordan, but he started DeAndre Jordan those 2 games, and he didn't really learn his lesson until he finally put Paul Reed in. And after the rant that he did in the interview, basically talking smack about Paul Reed and the fans. But overall, man, I just think that loss was really on Doc Rivers. It was actually on them, and then also we didn't have a healthy James Harden. It showed in explosive plays that he normally makes. It wasn't there, and then on top of that, the Heat just had too much. They had too much bench and everything like that. Bam Adebayo didn't really do too much
Nope.
until like a couple games. He had some decent games, but he didn't really do too much. It was all Jimmy. It was all Jimmy, man, and it sucked because those games that Matisse Thybulle missed was pivotal because now you got to get back into the swinging things going to South Beach. He couldn't keep up. He just couldn't keep up.
He sure enough couldn't. I just feel like Matisse is a definitely good defender. But they did lift that rule up in Canada now. You can play.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good. When I thought we was going to get rid of Matisse on off season, but he was in the gym working. Hopefully, I love Matisse. Don't get me wrong. I love
Okay.
Matisse defensively, but offensively, he is a liability. When somebody can't score, we need them little points to help. He doesn't give us anything. If Matisse gives me 10 points a night, I am okay with Matisse scoring 10 points. He can't even get 2 points.
Mm-mm.
So, but going into this off season, Joel is finally healthy. We get a selflessness James Harden, which I don't think he gets enough credit for taking smaller money, so we can build and get some people in. Let's talk about the offseason acquisitions.
Man.
You get a Daniel House Jr., good
Mm-hmm.
solid role bench player. You get DeAnthony Milton, who I didn't see that coming. I was like,
No.
oh, Danny Green's out of here. Let's go. So Danny Green's going. Sometime Danny is what I call him because you don't
Oh, I
know
got
what
another
Danny
name for
Green
him.
is going to come up. You don't know
Mm.
what Danny Green we going to get. We might get that 27-point Danny Green against the Lakers, or we might get that 3-point Danny Green we've seen plenty of times with this team. And we get some other pieces. We get PJ Tucker. We go out and get a Montrezl Harrell, which I didn't see that coming. How do you how do you like this off season so far that we did?
I really believe that this all season was all about what Joel Embiid said in the exit interview. He basically talked about getting toughness, and getting like players that could come off the bench and produce, and that's basically what Daryl Morey went out and did. Montrezl Harrell was a shock to me. I thought we was going to go after an actual like bigger center, such as like a Hassan Whiteside or something like that, but I already knew that him and Doc Rivers had a relationship when he was with the Clippers. So I say that to say that that was a good acquisition. PJ Tucker was a no-brainer. We already knew that that was all Joel Embiid. DeAnthony Melton, I didn't know that they was going to trade for him for that for Uncle No Knees. Danny Green is what I call him. He don't have no knees. But I didn't know that they was going to trade for him. But that was a steal. And then Daniel House, getting Daniel House, he's another 3-and-D guy. So we just got to put everything together. The acquisitions mesh well with what we already had, and we're just taking off all the dead weight. And of course, Matisse Thybulle is still there, and Furkan Korkmaz and Shake Milton, because a lot of times, like I said in my video earlier, we hold on to so many players that's not producing for this team, and we got one goal, and that's to go to the championship and get the ring. At the end of the day, we can't do that with a Furkan or anything like that. So I don't even think he's going to see time, but I understand why he's still on the roster is because we paid him too much.
I thought Ferk was going to be out of here. I mean, every time Ferk gets the ball, I cringe. I'm like, oh my God, why is he bringing up this basketball? Why is Ferk bringing up the ball? Shake Milton, I like Shake Milton. He could be that other scorer on the second team when he gets hot. When Shake gets hot, he gets hot. 27 points, 30 points one time. But I do like Shake on the defense and on the bench. I think he can be good for that second unit. Furkan, he irks my nerves at times when he was so inconsistent last season. I did a video.
My question.
I did a video on Furkan last year. I did not expect it to blow up the way it did, but he absolutely stunk it up last season.
My question to you is, where does Shake fit in? Where do you see him fitting in the second unit?
I mean, you got Milton, you got House. I think he will pair well with them. I don't know if he'll be the sixth man off the bench like he was last season,
right?
But he'll definitely get those minutes in. That we got. He'll be a good piece to the bench as well. Paul Reed as well. Harold come off that bench, good energy guy, can give you boards. Remind me of that bully ball that I think we need to go back to. But he definitely be good. It sucks that we did have to waive Isaiah Joe and Charles Bassey. Didn't even give Bassey a shot.
Why though? Why does that suck though?
I mean, I already knew it's a business, and I already knew we had these guys come here. They wasn't going to stay around, but maybe I thought Isaiah Joe was going to stay around just a little bit because he was working on that shot. But we kept a Jaden Springer, but we get rid of Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, but he's on the two-way, right?
Springer, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, Isaiah Joe had a great jump shot, man. He was 6'4", but he was bony. He was small. He wasn't really ready to play in the playoffs, but he did his thing what he could have done. Charles Bassey, I feel sorry for him, honestly, because he didn't really get the chance dealing with Daryl Morey and also Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers actually influences Daryl Morey because he has that utmost respect for Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers do not like to play the young players.
No, he doesn't.
He don't. He don't like to play the young players. He doesn't like to develop anybody. So, with that being said, I just think that basically, it was like what's his name, Traveling Queen, him. he was another guy that we thought was going to stick around, but then he got released. He got picked up right away by the Indiana Pacers. So, I think that it's a good opportunity for them to try to find their way in the NBA again. Unfortunately, it won't be with us. I'm just happy that he decided to keep Paul Reed.
Yeah.
And there was a report that was out that was saying that Paul Reed and Montrezl Harrell was going to be a fluid backup center, like however the lineups come about. But yeah, I just think that it's unfortunate, but like you said, it's a business at the end of the day.
Right. Of course, you know what happens. Philly players may go somewhere else. They always come back somehow to bite us in the butt and always be greater. Be great. So I'm looking for Isaiah Joe to be a star in this league, the same as Charles Bassey. Some young team will give him a shot at playing. The only thing I didn't like about Doc Rivers is we could have won that Milwaukee game. Doc is not. Everybody's like, oh, Doc, he's this, he's that. He's not a bad coach. It's just his decision making that irks my nerves down to the core. It's the decisions that he makes. Doc is not bad. It's the decisions. And like, oh, he blow 3-1 leads. But he's not out there playing though. He can execute a game plan.
That's a fact.
But it's the players that gotta execute. It's the players that gotta execute. So it's the players' fault. That's why they lost the lead. The 3-1 lead or whatever. But he's not bad. That Toronto series, he did excellent. He called the excellent game plan in that Toronto series. Tobias Harris saved us a lot. I thought Tobias was going to be on the hot seat and be out of here too, but Tobias just got to find his role. He just got to find his role. He just got to find his way. What do you think about Tobias Harris?
I think Tobias Harris, like he did come out and say that, he had to push his ego aside to find his way on this team. I think that money, that contract got to his head, basically thinking that he was supposed to be either the number 2 or number 3 when James Harden got here. But Tyrese Maxey basically took over. He jumped over him, and then all of a sudden, now you're the number 4 option. So with that being said, you just got to play your role in the offense, man. Your contract is about to be up soon, and it is what it is at this point. But Tobias Harris is not a bad player, but he's not the player of that contract. He's a good role player. He reminds me of Jay Crowder or Bobby Portis type player. Like he's not one of those guys that he could win you games. He can't do that by himself. We've seen that with Orlando. We've seen that with the Clippers. And now with us, the games where, people was resting or we had hurt players. Tobias wasn't that guy, but he can he's too inconsistent. Like, Tobias Harris could get you 16 to 20 points a night. And sometimes you say, oh, he got 26 points. Oh, that's the Tobias we need to see. Then he come back with like 9. Then you're like, what?
Right. I'm like, where was this? What? Yes, just 2 days ago you had 27 and 10.
Right.
You got 9 and 3. What's going on?
And he's missing shots. Certain games he didn't have a decent lift on his jump shot. He just didn't know like what speed the game was going. Like I felt like that he was lost half of the time. And it bothers me about Tobias Harris not having no moves. I'm sorry. I understand that he's tall.
He can post. One thing he can do, he can post, but then
he got the body frame for that, but he doesn't have any moves, man. If he had moves, he'd be deadly. He would be deadly because you can't guard him if he had some type of moves, like even 3 moves, just 3. But going back to your Doc Rivers point, players did come out and say that he's bad at adjusting. He's very bad at adjusting. And in the playoffs, you got to do that because the game slowed down, and you got to be able to adjust. You cannot rely like I'm on record saying that Doc Rivers only got a ring because he had legends on his team. He had a team put together, and he relied on the Kevin Garnett's, the Paul Pierce, the Ray Allens, the Rondos. He relied on those guys. Even Big Baby came out and said that, hey, we didn't even get a chance. Like we won 1 game against the Lakers, and then all of a sudden you didn't even see us no more like that. He relies on his stars too much, just like the Clippers. He relied on Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and then you flip it, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. He relies on the stars too much. And I think last year he thought, okay, we got James Harden, we got Joel Embiid. You know, even though James Harden wasn't 100%, he came out and said he wasn't 100%, but he still thought that, okay, they could win us some ball games. And they did. But at the same time, you still got to coach.
Right.
You still got to be able to adjust. And you still got to know where to put your players in so they could be, where to put your players at so they could be successful.
I definitely agree with you there. I mean, there's no way. I forget what one series that I don't know if I'm going back to the series with when Ben was here with Atlanta. He kept the bench in too long, especially when we had 27-point leads. When you see your lead trending down to 15, you need to call a timeout and get readjusted. Put your starters back in. Don't wait to go all the way. You get a 10-point lead and it trickles down to single digits. You have blown all the momentum. So.
Right.
It's something that you are right with Doc and adjustments. I just don't understand why you can't make adjustments. And you know who was good with making adjustments and we could not beat? It was Brad Stevens. When we played Boston, Brad Stevens was on us like white on rice, and it was ridiculous. I'm like, Doc, just make adjustments. Why can't you be like Brad Stevens? He clearly outcoached you that day. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot of coaches that he went up against with us. Like Nick Nurse is another one. Budenholzer. They can make adjustments to the point where now we got the lead, but then all of a sudden we can't make shots. We're not put in the right situation. He don't know when the hell to call time out. Right. And then when he does call time out, the play that they draw up is either not executed by the players or Doc just drew up some BS that he's like, okay, well, if Embiid get it, let him ISO. Just let him ISO. Let him go. So it's just like Doc just don't know what to do at points, and that's what's frustrating. But when what was the guy name when Doc had
Lindbergh?
Yeah, no, the was that him? The dude that came in for Doc when he was sick. Yeah. So when he came in, everything was fine.
I was like, can we have Dan Burke just coach the rest of the season? Just have Dan coach the rest of the season. Gives him and Sam Cassell got this. Let's just sit, Doc, you take a seat. Like I was, it was beautiful. Like that's how basketball's supposed to be played.
Right, and that just looked bad on him. But with his ego on the interviews or the press conferences and everything like that, it's just like you don't know what else to say about Doc. But that's Doc. That's all you got to say about that. That's
like
Doc.
Especially the whole Ben Simmons thing. We were just like, Doc, he can't shoot a free throw. What are you talking about? No, we don't want Ben Simmons on the court. Like, no, we don't need him on the court. He's not doing anything. He clearly didn't do that in that whole series. He went a whole game without scoring any points, and you want him in the game and not score free throws. They doing Hackabin. They're gonna put him to the line. So
right.
But all right, let's fast forward to this year. We know went in the past. We had we got our acquisitions preseason. Tyrese Maxey, man. Tyrese Maxey is on a whole different level. This kid is only 22. Soon as the season ended, he wanted to be in the gym the next day. He wanted to be in the gym the next day. Why? He wanted to work on his craft.
And what Doc Rivers say? Oh no,
next week.
Go ahead, man. Just do your thing, man. You don't have to go back to the gym. What? Like, let that young man sit up there and be great. You know, we've been praying for a guard before we even got James Harden. We was praying for a guard that was willing to shoot, willing to get better, willing to have his craft that he learns in the summertime.
Reminds me of that man back there.
Right. He takes his craft that he learned in the summertime and places it on the NBA floor. You know, we had, players, Ben Simmons that would shoot fadeaways and open runs and things like that. But then when he comes on the floor, he don't want to take a shot. So, but back to Tyrese Maxey. But Tyrese Maxey, like I said, we already knew he was quick. We already knew he was able to finish at the rim. And his floater is is unguardable. But then you got the jump shots, and he's hitting that fadeaway jump shot pretty fluid now, to the point where he's not second guessing. It's more fluid. Mm-hmm. He's been making them in the preseason. Also, when Harden is penetrating to the basket, he's setting up to shoot. If you try to set up to shoot, he's not one down. Now you got to get on him. I think he got Jared Allen on this one time, whereas though that he drove to James Harden drove to the basket and Tyrese Maxey was in the corner and he passed it to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey did a quick puff fake and Jared Allen stepped up. So now he could go straight to the basket and he finished it. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's going to be one of those players that's going to average like 18 points. He's going to average 18 points. I'll be happy if he scored 20. He averaged 20. But he's going to average like 18 points, and his defense is getting better too. A lot of people were saying that, in the playoffs, it was a mismatch because he's too small. But I think that he could play the passing lanes and everything, and everybody else just got to step up around him. They were talking about putting Tobias Harris at small forward. So with Tobias Harris at small forward and PJ Tucker playing the power forward, I think we're going to have a decent, size of advantage. And then, if he plays with the second unit, because you see what he did with DeAnthony Melton, they could play well together. They play well together. DeAnthony Melton got defense and he can score. So if I'm not saying that Tyrese Maxey is anywhere near Ja Morant, but if they could give us that when they were both on the floor, the East is in trouble.
Yep.
The East is in trouble.
Definitely. And he's working on his 3-point shot. Oh my God.
I mean, he shot over 40% last year. And now that shot is fluid, except for the last preseason game. And B did talk about that. And B was like, you was trash.
But I like them two chemistry too. He's getting better with seeing who's open, feeding people. Of course, you're gonna have a PJ Tucker who's gonna get you rebounds and kick it back out if he sees who's open. Like he did a beautiful, I forget what game that was, but he had a pass, gave it to, I think it was Milton in the corner. As soon as he passed it, he went up court because he knew it was going in. So I mean, this team definitely is going to be fun. It's like I can't wait, especially when we play Boston. And those guys, but the game I'm waiting for is November 22nd when the Nets come to Philly. Since Ben want to talk all this trash, he's ready. He's ready. He can't wait. Okay, you can't wait. You still not gonna do nothing. Ben.
So the only reason why he played in that game is because they were in Brooklyn. That's number one. Number two, I don't think he's going to play the two games when they come to Wells Fargo. I think that Ben Simmons is going to. He's going to say his back hurt or he got the bubble guts or something is going to happen. A rest day, something, because Ben Simmons is not ready to come and face these fans. He's not ready for that.
Nope. Trust me, we all know, Ben, yes, you are a good passer. Yes, you are a good defender. But you forget, you played here for 5 seasons. We all know your moves. We all know what to do against you because you don't do nothing. So you're not going to shoot. All we got to do is defend everyone else. What are you going to do? You're not going to go up against a Joel Embiid, but that's what you're not going to do. You're not going to think you're going to jam down this court with that man in the middle.
Speaking of that, did you see the reports? I don't know if it's true or not, but they were basically saying Ben said that him and Joel Embiid never had like a real relationship, and he don't even talk to him like that. But then when he was on the team, he was saying that our chemistry is getting better, and we talk all the time and we hanging out. So I don't know what to believe.
I think it's a bunch of BS actually, because there's no way you don't talk to a teammate throughout the season. Chemistry. You might be quiet and all, but I'm just saying, especially when you're on the court, it looked like y'all had chemistry to me.
Right.
So somebody somebody lying. Somebody lying. And it's probably
that Brooklyn Nets game, that's going to be everything, man, because I think that it's going to tell. It's going to tell where we're at in November and where we need to be at before the playoffs start.
Especially a good test against Brooklyn. I mean, not Brooklyn, Giannis, because I know we got them like 2 days after Boston. So we see the Bucks early too. What team are you worried about playing against?
The Bucks. I think we could. I know we could beat Boston. I know we could beat the Miami Heat. I know we could beat the Brooklyn Nets. It's just a simple fact that they just wanted it more when they came to Philly, and they and B came to play, but everybody else didn't. Right. So
broken finger, eye socket broke. He was still balling.
He was still playing, and James Harden got shut down by Kyrie out of all people. Kyrie Irving. Yeah, Kyrie is a great scorer, but defensive wise, what? Like you could get
We know
over on him.
James Harden don't play no defense. We've seen this throughout his years. He don't play not a lick of defense.
No, I know that. But this year, you know, he got to step up. He got to step up. Tyrese Maxey is going to step up. You know, he's been playing well. He played well in the preseason against them. And I just think that the Bucks has our number only because Brook Lopez for some reason turned into Steph Curry when he played us, man. Like he hit threes and all that, and Embiid is not stepping all the way out there. And if he does, now the lane is free for the Giannis and the Bobby Portises and even what's his name, Drew Holiday.
Yep.
Even him to go to the rack. So now, you know, how do you stop the Bucks? That's going to be the task. I know we could beat Toronto, so I'm not worried about Toronto. The Hawks,
Cleveland, they got Donovan Mitchell now.
I'm not worried about Cleveland. This is why, because they got two ball hogs. They got to learn how to work together. And by the time they learn how to work together, I think it's going to be too late. I think that Donovan Mitchell is going to want the ball, and I think Garland's going to want the ball. And in certain times. So I think that's going to they're going to clash because you need a ball handler, and somebody's got to defer. And I think if I had to choose, I think Garland would defer, but it got to be clicking on all cylinders.
Definitely. I know we're gonna. Where do you see us seated?
If you want me to be realistic, I see us seated as third, smooth third. If you want me to be realistic, behind the Bucks, and I'm missing a team. I know I'm missing a team.
So we have Chicago. You don't know what Chicago's going to do with Lonzo Ball and his injury, but you still got DeRozan, Caruso, Levine. Then you got the Nets. I don't know how far they're going to go. So it's Cleveland, Toronto, the Heat, Atlanta,
the Bucks, the.
It is one missing.
This is somebody.
About to look. Hold on.
This is somebody that was in the playoffs last
Philly,
year.
Miami, Chicago, Charlotte, Boston. The Knicks ain't poop. The Knicks, Indiana, no. Washington, no. So yeah, it's Milwaukee, it's Brooklyn, it's Cleveland, Toronto maybe slip in. Atlanta definitely could possibly slip in. I don't know. New York is not going to slip in. It's Boston, Chicago, Miami. So I mean, those are your. Is it a play?
So Boston, Chicago, Miami
this year? Did they bring it back?
What the play-in?
Yeah. Damn play-in. So it's 1 through 6 goes, and then the rest play in.
Yeah.
So I can if the Nets play how they say they're going to play. If I don't see them being top 6.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just something. We got to see if Kyrie's going to be available. You know how he likes to take breaks. You know KD's going to be KD. KD is one of the best in the world up with LeBron James. It's 1 and 2. Him and LeBron James 1 and 2. You got to give him that. But it's just when KD has an off night, and he does. And if Kyrie's not playing, who will step up on this Nets team? It ain't going to be Ben.
No, it's not going to be Ben.
That's what I'm saying. I get it. Kyrie is great at what he does. Is he going to be available for you?
Right.
So I'm saying later on in the stretch, because Kyrie wanted to where he don't want to play back-to-back games, and he said he think it's inhumane. What are we dogs and cats? Inhumane? You get paid to play basketball. Who cares if it's back-to-back or not? You get paid millions to play basketball, but you don't want to play back-to-back nights, or you only want to you want a part-time schedule. You didn't sign up to play part-time.
Right.
People that's in these seats are paying your salary. So how are you going to say, oh, you get to pick and choose what games you play? That's why the Nets didn't restructure his deal and offer him a max contract.
Right. And I think Kyrie is going to ball out this year. I think the issue is going to be with KD. I think that especially with already just having an issue with the higher ups and the coach, it's going to get times where it's going to get frustrating. He's already talking about Ben Simmons working his way back to basketball and trying to get his offensive rhythm going, you know. So once he sees what we saw for years, he's going to sit up there and get frustrated. And if he gets frustrated, you know, just like he did with Russell Westbrook and trying to win a championship with the Thunder, he went to the Warriors. Don't be shocked if he be like, yo, I need to go somewhere where I can win. And he ends up, you know, trying to get to either Philly or somebody that's because when he wanted to trade, he said the Suns and or the Heat. They both was the number one seeds of the respectful conferences last year. So I lost cool points with KD because you know you already did the thing with the Warriors. Now you're talking about you want to trade to one of those teams. You know, he threw Philly in there too. But you know, if he went to Philly, it would have been a ball game. It would have been an automatic chip.
Right, but
But
then we would have to give up the house, the car, the kids, and the dog, and Wells Fargo just for KD.
yeah, they wanted Maxey. They wanted Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
We was going to dump Tobias Harris contract, you know, and you know we was just swapping players at this point, and it was going to be Harden, KD, and Embiid, and then the rest of them,
Right.
basically.
So I'm not even gonna lie, that would have been a crazy behind lineup. But it was just
Yo,
like it's just like everybody was like, why wouldn't you do KD? I'm like, but we giving up the house in our future. That's just to say we do all this and don't go. Then what? Like that, I mean, you gotta it's nice and all to have a Kevin Durant in your lineups anywhere, but you gotta be realistic here. What if we don't go with a KD to the championship? Then we did all that for nothing.
right, right. And I was just on like in that in the all season, I just was like, yo, I don't want him here because I don't know how he's going to react to Harden
Right.
because of the whole All-Star break thing. But then I seen them practicing together. I'm like, oh, they cool, and they went partying together. So
I think it was more of either A Steve Nash or B Kyrie.
yeah, yeah. I
So
think
James even said that he didn't want to go to Brooklyn. He just wanted to go somewhere and get out of Houston. So Brooklyn was his first choice. Apparently he was trying to come to Philly from the gate.
yeah, that's what it was because remember we were supposed to be trading Ben Simmons for him to the Rockets, and Daryl Morey said no at that point. And then all of a sudden, you know, everything happened, and then they was like, all right, well, let's just dump this contract because he's giving us a headache. He don't want to come back to practice, and he don't want to, you know, be with the team. So it is what it is. Just because you know you got some criticism from your coach and your and the star player of the team, superstar player. Why are you sitting up there acting like that? Then he said it was mental health issues, and I don't play with mental health issues,
Right.
so that's why I'm saying that overall, I'm happy that it went down the way it went down because now look what we got. You know, James Harden set up there, restructured his whole contract for us to get the pieces that we had for a couple years straight. Our issue was going into the playoffs but no bench.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, we had TJ. We had TJ coming off the bench one year. You know what I'm saying? So and Sauce. What was his name? The other guy. I forgot the other guy.
Sark.
Name. Huh?
Sark?
No, not Dario. It's the other guard. The other guard. I forgot his name that fast. But it's a brain fart. I get it. But yeah, we didn't have a bench. Now we going into the season with a bench. And right as a stand right now, we supposed to have 15 men going into the season. We only got 14, so I don't know who they're going to sign.
Right. I don't know if you're gonna get that piece or if did we keep Niang? Is he still on
Yeah,
the
George
team?
Niang's still there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like George when he comes off the bench, like especially if he gets hot, he'll spark up, man. He gets hot quick. So I mean I like George. Yeah, I don't know who that fourth team spot is gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna pull somebody off. Everybody was like, oh, get Jay Crowder, but I feel like Jay Crowder don't want to come off no bench. He gonna be a starter. Um, but I don't think we got the money to get a Jay Crowder.
We kind of do, but we just would have to lose Tobias, probably Thibault, and probably a pick.
I mean, I mean, I probably would jump on that. I mean, and I would jump on that, or but then who would play the three?
uh, who will play the three?
Mm-hmm.
Crowder.
Okay.
Crowder will play the three, and then we just have to figure it out on the on the bench. We had to figure that out. But Crowder will play the three. He'll start.
The
But
one guy that I wanted here on the off season, I wanted DiVincenzo so bad because he can come off the bench and he can shoot. And I like Villanova kids. Nova's my squad, so I like all the Nova products. Jalen Brunson, you got a Mikal Bridges and Sadiq Bey in Detroit. Like I like the
I
Nova guys,
was
so I
so
feel like
mad.
DiVincenzo was meant to bring home. When I seen we got offered in Golden State, I'm like Daryl, we couldn't give him that. We
Right,
couldn't give him $8 million for 2 years to come off the bench.
right.
He gonna
But
light it up in Golden State.
see, one thing about Daryl Morey, man, he's always going to go with the home run. He's going to go with the home run first, and then sprinkle in, you know, a lot of not unnecessary, but pieces around those home run hits. So he did a great job this go around, but I know with the Rockets, he would just try to hit home run, see what he did when he got the white and all that. So yeah, I just think that that's one of those things where as though that Crowder is going to want to start. We're going to have to give up a lot for him, and it's going to kind of put a dent in our bench.
Do you see Daryl throughout the season trying to get another move, depending on how we are in the record? And do you see him possibly making some more magic happen?
Yeah, I do see that. I see that because I think that he jumps on the first thing that he jumps on his relationships. That's what he jumps on. He jumps on that. He with the players and also other GMs to try to see what he could do. He's always on the phone, just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get that going.
James Harden. I mean, he did lose 100 pounds. He does look better. Seeing him, he did that little step back move, penetration. I was like, oh, we might be getting the James Harden back that we used to. But he definitely didn't have no legs in the last season. You definitely tell just by him jumping with jump shots. I'm like, that's not a jump shot, James. It's called a jump shot. Why aren't you jumping? He definitely didn't have no legs. Do you think this season we will see some other flashes of the old James Harden?
Yeah, I think so because I think that with Tyrese Maxey taking some of the offense off of him, and then if Tobias Harris decide that he wants to just contribute to the team and not worry about uh, his numbers or if getting his numbers called, I think that James Harden will be able to relax to the point where all I gotta do is score 20 points and then I can just distribute the ball. But we're going to see those flashes, and we're going to get a couple games where you're going to see James Harden from the Houston Rockets that was just lighting stuff up. So I think that's what we're going to see from James Harden because he wanted what did Doc Rivers say? He said he wanted him to be a scoring Magic Johnson. That's what he said. That's
uh,
what he said.
you
But
gotta get
I'm
go
like
ahead.
James Harden been doing that.
Right.
He's been doing that. He's been doing that. He's been learning from Chris Paul. He learned from Chris Paul, and he was already getting triple doubles and everything like that. Remember, it was him and Westbrook that
Mm-hmm.
was almost averaging. Well, he was almost averaging triple double. I think Westbrook did, and that's how he got the MVP over him that one year.
Um, I just had my thought and I lost it. Crap. I totally forgot what I was about to say. Did it have something to do with Harden? Indeed. I really don't remember what I was about to say.
I
Doggone
got
it.
a question for you though.
That's how
I
I
got
know
a
you
question.
know.
I got a question for you though. How do you think that pick and roll with Harden and Embiid is going to go?
I mean, it was great last year. Just imagine now what's going to be like. They play with each other now. That pick and roll is going to be great because at first JoJo didn't want to really roll to the basket, but
Mm-mm.
now he sees how dominant that is. That I love that pick and roll with them. It's going to be buckets every time.
Well, I know Embiid was working on rolling to the basket and looking at Serge Ibaka, old Serge Ibaka tapes and old uh who else he had? Serge Ibaka. It was somebody else that he was looking at the pick and roll. He was looking to do that, but Embiid is more comfortable picking and popping. So Doc Rivers did come to James Harden and basically asked him to, just know y'all got to have that relationship where y'all know when Embiid wants to pop or when he's going to roll. Y'all got to communicate that on the floor. So they're going to do that a lot more this year, and I think that's going to be in half court sets.
I just don't want Joel to just hang out at the top of the key. Don't hang up at the top. Just go ahead and go in the basket, under the basket, and get some points. Like, it's fine if you hit them, but Jesus, don't live at the top of the key. That's what your guard is for. Damian, I know we don't have his track record of the playoffs. Like we said, I'm hoping for not another second round exit. But until they prove me otherwise, it is second round exit or bust. Because that's what we're used to. We know we should have been further. We should have beat the Hawks. That was our AF Eastern Conference right there. We should have beat the Hawks. That was the season to get it done. The season else was to get it done when JJ Redick was here, when we with Kawhi with that lucky behind bounce shot.
Yo,
that was our year right there too. That was our track season into the finals.
Right. With the Hawks series, that let's just say that things in another universe. Ben Simmons dunked the ball, get the and one. He makes the free throw, and we basically go on win Game 7 and play the Milwaukee Bucks. Do you think that Ben Simmons would have been ready?
I mean, he did pretty well playing against Giannis. I mean, it would have maybe something would have slapped him in his face, maybe. I remember one game he was with Utah. He had 40 something. I was like, where has this been at every night? Like,
right?
You got to get slapped in the face or just.
And he took that game and ran with it. He's your defensive player. I had 40 against him. Like, I'm like, all right, but then you also have 9, 6, and 6 games, and you also had like.
And then like it's just the cockiness in the interviews. He was like, "Oh, well, I was guarding the best player. We still lost."
Yeah. Yeah, but if you look at that play,
we still lost, Ben. What do you mean?
But if you look at that play, when Kawhi caught it at the top of the key, and then he went around and then was going towards and Embiid was helping.
Yeah, Ben was nowhere to be found.
Because that was Ben's guard. Yep. So basically that was on Ben. The Hawks series was on Ben because they start to hack him and hitting free throws, and then they came back by 20 plus points. They was down 20 plus points. They came back. But that's what I'm saying.
I feel like Ben played well before the All-Star break because he wanted to be an All-Star. He wanted to get the points and the numbers to be an All-Star because the All-Star, he was shooting 65%. He was about 40, 50 something from the line. He was doing it all. After that second half came in and he played like dog poop. I'm like, what happened to the Ben Simmons before the All-Star break? What happened? Did you just wanted to get there just to say you wanted to be an All-Star when really that year Tobias maybe should have been in as a reserve, maybe should have gave him his props because Tobias was balling. But for you to just do a whole 360 in the second half and don't want to play basketball at all, that was just ridiculous for me. I didn't understand it at all.
Ben Simmons has a record of not being aggressive. He's not aggressive at all. He's not an aggressive guy. He looks for players before he looks for his own shot. On top of that, like you just said, All-Star break, after the All-Star break, it's like, where did you go? Because the game slows down. Everybody's playing harder because they're trying to position themselves for the playoffs. And there's no way that Ben Simmons can go through that. You got to guard the best player, yes, but you also got to score points. It was one time that he basically I thought that was my phone, but he basically he basically guarded the best person, and he was our second best player. So he was supposed to score. He was supposed to be what Chris Middleton is for Giannis. Not saying he could shoot like him, but he could have at least been aggressive going to the basket, hitting his free throws, still getting everybody involved. But, when your number is called, go. he didn't want to. He would dribble, get to the basket, turn, and pass the ball.
Right.
That's why I'll
Yep.
always say it. His best years is when we had shooters. When we had Bellinelli, we had JJ Redick. That was his best years.
Yep.
Dario,
Dario. Yep.
that was his best years because the floor spaced out and all they had to do was shoot the ball when he passed him the ball. Nobody was talking about that then. That's why us as Sixers fans, we vouched for him and said, hey, he does a lot more than just not shoot. You know, he plays
He
defense.
doesn't really have to because we got shooting to do it for him.
Then when it became like, okay, Ben Simmons is the second best player because, you know, he's the all-star. He's 2-top all-star, 3-top all-star at the time. And now spotlight's on him. He don't know how to handle that. He can't handle that. That's why I said when he comes back to Philly, or if he comes back to Philly to play, it's not going to be a good game for him. Like KD and Kyrie might have to belt. Well, they're going to have to belt.
I mean, he it was preseason, but he did show up.
At Brooklyn, at Barclays.
Oh, that was right. That's right. That was in Brooklyn. That's right.
That wasn't there.
It wasn't right because Philly's going to tear him a new one. And as far as Damian, me and you go back and forth. We all know you are the Ben sexual here. You low key wanted Ben Simmons for your Bulls team. But as far as to say we don't blame other players, we do blame other players in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But when your so-called second guy on your team absolutely scores no points in a Game 7 pivotal game to get you to the Eastern Conference Finals and you score no points, that is unacceptable. We all know Embiid had his share of turnovers that game. Yes, we pointed them out. But to sit here and say we don't blame nobody else for a 6'10" guy who couldn't dunk on a smaller Trae Young is beyond me. And he even admitted, yes, he should have dunked that ball. He shouldn't have passed it. There's no way you go play 4 quarters in the whole series only scoring 2 or 1 point. Who does that? And you can't shoot free throws. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Me as Sixers fans was tired of defending Ben after that point. When you got to have people in your stands try to tell him how to shoot a free throw, it's crazy. I'm done with Ben.
And that guy that was teaching, like when he was at the free throw line, I know exactly what time he's talking about. And he's sitting up there going like this. He looked like he never played basketball a day in his life teaching Ben how to shoot. That's ridiculous. But at the same time,
when we get on Kyrie, we're not Brooklyn fans, but yes, Kyrie doesn't play a whole full season. But when Kyrie is in the game, Kyrie busts his ass. He gets assists, he gets steals, he takes it to the rack, he shoots, his handles is crazy. It's totally different. I just feel like Ben Simmons don't want to play basketball.
I don't care how great you are in the NBA. Everybody, all the players got something with them. Something mistakes or something that you've seen in a playoff series that's like, yo, you could have did this, you could have did this better, you could have did that better. And us as content creators and us as fans, we're gonna call that out. I don't care if it's Joel Embiid, I don't care if it's LeBron James. I'm gonna call it out that, hey, you didn't step up here. You wasn't right there for your team, and this is what I saw. So for them to say, oh, well, for the guy to say we're blaming Ben, it was on notice that it was all Ben. It's on notice. It's not, and we're talking about certain pivotal plays, just like, you know, he passed the ball. He said he didn't know it was Trae Young, but Trae Young, if Ben Simmons stood up straight, you couldn't see Trae Young at all. 1, 2. Then the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard, that play, that was on Ben because he was guarding Kawhi Leonard. He was guarding him. I don't know who Jimmy was guarding, but I know that, you know, he was guarding Kawhi Leonard. So that's the two things that stood out for me. But that it is what it is, man. That's the past. I want us to sit up there and focus on playing within ourselves first, and then going at these other teams, because we got to still get that together. We got 4 or 5 new guys that we got to hold accountable as well, because we got to get everybody on the same page. That is one goal, and that's to win the championship. And Joel Embiid has to be a floor leader. He has to talk to them. And I don't care if he yell. You know, I'm from that era when if he got to yell, he's going to yell. And you can't do nothing about it because this is his team. Everybody's coming here to play with Joel. Yep. So it is what it is.
I think I think he does have some say in here who he wants too. So if I'm Daryl Morey and I go to Joel Embiid, I'm going to say what do we need here? Daryl's going to do whatever he has to do. That's why he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, we need that bully person." Oh, here comes PJ Tucker. So you know, so yeah. Then I mean, PJ Tucker's not the same PJ Tucker we seen in the Houston days, but
No.
he did what he had to do in Milwaukee. He got a championship. He did what
Mm-hmm.
he had to do in Miami. They almost went to the championship. But
Mm-hmm.
PJ Tucker's still that solid guy that can give you those boards and the bully ball. He may not give you 15, 20 points, but he's down there. At least he's not a liability.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons, we played 5-on-4 basketball all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
the floor spacing is just a beautiful. Without him there, without him there.
Right, right. And on top of that, with speaking of PJ Tucker, I was so hype about the PJ Tucker, and everybody was like, "Well, he's 37, so
Mhm.
but he boxes out on rebounds. We were almost dead last in rebounding last year.
Yep, we showed
He
enough
boxes
out
out.
rebounded. Yep.
Your boy Tobias Harris does not box out. I seen that Hawk series. Trey Young get 3 boards over him. Trey Young, little ass. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we got PJ Tucker, we got Montrezl Harrell, guys that box out. Joel Embiid, he don't have to be that lazy Joel Embiid because he does get lazy at times.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guy, and I like him as a player, and that's my favorite player on the Sixers now. But at the same time, I hate when he got his head down, his body language don't look right. He's be sitting there like, what's going on? What's going on? It was times when Jimmy was here, he had to talk to him like, yo, take us home, or at least take us to the fourth quarter. I'll close the thing out. He needed that. But now you're supposed to be the guy that's going to sit up there and be like, yo, I don't got it tonight. Come on, Tyrese, or come on, James. Take us there. I'll help close us out, or I'll close us out. You got to be the leader on the floor. And then first thing he's talking about is defense. But I think we were top 10 in defense last year. But he wants to get better, especially with these new acquisitions and everything like that. So I really believe that we can be better than last year, but it all starts with Joel Embiid, and then it ends with Joel Embiid.
Right. So I got a couple bets. Jesus Christ. The one bet is with the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles. Oh my God. They bet people on the network betted me if Dallas loses, I gotta wear a hat. And if Michael Parsons sacks sacks Jalen twice, I gotta get his name embroidered on the hat from Lids. I said if I put that hat on, I'm gonna lose all my hair. So I'm hoping and praying that we get this win because I can't wear that hat. And I told Dallas fans if we lose and I get that hat, I'll ship it to any Dallas fan who won it for free. So that's one bet I got. The other bet I have is with my friend that's a Lakers fan. I bet it. I said, let's see who plays the most games. Let's see out of Embiid and KD who plays the most games, and if whoever loses has to buy each other a jersey. So we're on that train now. So here go Damian. He will not leave. He will not let me leave this down. What's going on, Thomas? He will not let me live this down forever. So everybody's hoping that Dallas wins so he can see me in this damn hat. No. But yeah, I just wanted to chop it up with you for an hour or so because we've seen seen each other at the Eagles practice, and I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about the Sixers. I'm sure we'll get into some Eagles content later on down the line. Maybe I can hop on your channel or hop on with you and JC. But your link is in the description as well. But let people know where they can find you at.
You can find me on here at King DV Sports. Also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at King DV Sports, all one word. I'm working on the Eagles pregame with JC. We got our own little pregame show, and then after that, I'm just going to be drinking because it's my birthday.
Right, it's your birthday.
And
right.
the Eagles game is going to stress me out too. So yeah, you want to get your drinks ready. But yeah, that's all I got working. I'm working on it right now.
Oh yeah, he's a Bears fan, so I did ride his ass last night. I was like, oh, y'all got the boring games, y'all can't do this. So yeah, okay, he's getting me back. Okay, touche, you right. But your Bears still stink, and you know we do play y'all this year, right?
Yeah, it's a wrap for that.
So that's going to be a spanking. Poor Justin Fields. I actually feel literally I do feel bad for Justin Fields.
Yeah, he was hurt last night
but
too.
Damian, no excuses next year. I keep telling y'all Bears fans, no excuses. $123 million, $1 million cap money y'all gonna have. Y'all better go out there and get all them people y'all need.
Yeah,
y'all should make it to the playoffs next year. Doggone it.
Facts.
With all them weapons. But before we roll out of here, what you think about this Eagles game?
Final score is 31-17. I think the Eagles is going to do the thing. I think that Jalen Hurts is going to show off because they're going to. I think that they're going to try to make Cooper Rush beat them, and I think that also wherever the blitz is coming from, they're going to have Dallas Goedert there. So going behind them, just so they got to think twice because Dallas Goedert is one of those guys that can get you first downs and keep the ball moving if he's catching the ball. So I got the Eagles figuring out on offense. That's the only thing I'm worried about. On defense, I think that we can get the Cooper Rush. I know that we can stop the run. So I got us containing them.
I just think that offensively, Dallas isn't going to do anything because, like I said, I need Gannon. Because Gannon was on my poop list last week. Running around, act like, where's this pressure at we've been getting? And all of a sudden, Kyler Murray comes in. We don't know what to do with him.
Right.
What happened? So, yes, JG was on my poop list last week, and I hope he won't be on mine this week. But you got to bring the pressure. It worked for you all this way up till now. You got, especially with Cooper Rush back there. Mm-hmm. It's not Dak. But with Cooper Rush back there, we can't let him get nothing offensively.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb, I think he didn't practice, but I think he might be a go. I know Michael Parsons has a groin injury. That's going to be tough. That is going to be tough.
Yeah.
But he said he's playing. I'm like, okay.
Right.
But I don't know if he's going to be that full intense Parsons because a groin injury is a different monster. Them things hurt. So you can't lift your legs up to a certain. It's worse than the growing in a hamstring. No, you don't play.
I see him going into the tent Sunday. I see him going to the tent.
And Trayvon Diggs overrated. I can't. He's the most overrated corner safety I've seen in my life. Anthony Brown's going to be on Devontae Smith. We just got to take care of Brown. You just got to take care of Anthony on man-to-man situation. You just got to attack it. So I need Jalen to be precise because Dan Quinn is going to bring the heat, and we just got to be smarter than
Yeah.
Than McCarthy. I need Shane Steichems to get AJ Brown involved. Not no 2 catches, AJ Brown, but yeah. But we're going to get on out of here again, guys. I'm always live. I'm always in the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to my guy, King. And again, the link is in the description. And we are going to get out of here. And y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening because now I got to find some food. And the Phillies won. Let's go 9-1. We got one more win. Hopefully we can close it out tomorrow. Send the champs home packing because I do not want to go to Atlanta. I don't want to go back to Atlanta.
No, we got to win this next game.
So we're going to get on out of here. See y'all.
All right.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest